Today I want to talk about another channel with a passion for movies and making movies, RobCamVideos. What Rob does is he has his own version of fictional characters like Iron Man, Ant-Man and the Doctor.
Kiss my sweaty balls, you fat fuck.
Each character has their own universe. He calls this collective multiverse of characters the Quiff Legion. I'll just let Rob explain it.
Well, the Quiff Legion is a team of heroes with the same face, right? Protecting the multiverse. That's an infinite amount of universes to look after.
In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the more recent creative videos on Rob's channel and give my opinion on them, including 2 short films and a few sketches. Let's begin. Rob doesn't seem to upload often, but he always seems to upload during Christmas time. I quite like this sketch. I thought it was funny how the Doctor tells Rob that working at the BBC and working on a feature film is boring stuff. This is followed by the Doctor rambling on about things that he did instead, with, I must admit, a hilarious joke about the 12th Doctor.
Compared eyebrows with 12. They got serious very, very quickly. They're a bit surprising, they're a bit confusing, they're a bit angry. That was more so him than me. Got a Snapchat of it though, did you get it? Oh no, I'll check now. Hang on. Helped a couple of clones out on their road trip, not Santarans this time. Women.
There are many references in this sketch to get a kick out of if you're familiar with pop culture, like Captain America's shield, and the Doctor also tells Rob about 2 men in a van making rock candy, which is obviously a reference to Breaking Bad. Rob does work well with himself in this sketch. That's a running theme throughout his whole channel. It was also a nice way for him to say Merry Christmas to his fans. All in all, this was a good sketch. This was a great parody of Marvel's Captain America Civil War, but instead it was with all the characters in Rob's multiverse. The visual effects in this trailer are outstanding. Rob again has great comedic timing with himself. It's clear that Rob is a fan of Marvel, not only with this, but with his other video about Ant-Man, which is also great. The editing is also great. Rob uses green screen to the best of his abilities, realistically applying 2 of himself in the same shot without it looking silly or terrible. It's almost as good as a large budget film, and it's quite a shame that Rob has never made this into an actual film. Another parody, however this time it's of Back to the Future, specifically the end of part 1. The comedy in this video is good. The way that Rob interacts with himself just makes me laugh every single time. The special effects aren't amazing, but they are still quite good. I don't know what else to say about these sketches because I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. What happens in this sketch is quite obvious, it says so in the title. 5 of Rob's characters hold auditions for other Robs in other universes. I don't know how he does it, but the comedic timing and acting range of Rob is outstanding. The rejects range from Robbie, who's an American, Professor Rob Brains, because he's a scientist, RobCam Gaming, which is basically a GTA 5 parody, Rob Ott, he's a robot, Dave Tenthant, a parody of cosplayers, Rub Derpling, and even a film noir character that was used in his short film Extract. I'll get to that in a second. Most of the characters made me laugh at least once. The ones who weren't funny were the American, the gaming one, and especially the last one. The only bad part of the sketch is the last character, which is basically a meme, but the meme has been long dead, so the joke isn't funny anymore.
Oh, fuck.
When I first watched this video, it was because of DW 2012. Rob was featured in one of his episodes of his Doctor Who fan film series. However, this is better than any of DW 2012's episodes. This was released the same year as when they started series 1 of their fan film series. The episode is well written, the acting isn't cringeworthy, the special effects aren't amazing in terms of the opening intro sequence, but the effects of the Weeping Angels are excellent. If you haven't watched Doctor Who, you won't understand this episode. It's one big flaw, you won't understand it unless you have knowledge of real Doctor Who. It starts with the Doctor being interrupted while playing some product placement when his companion Lola gives him the last part for his invention. This invention is called the Automatic Christmas Decoration Creator, or ACDC. This can be seen as the first bit of comedy in the episode. It isn't extremely funny, however it shows the cleverness of Rob's writing, in that he can easily pass a joke by without having to stop the flow of the scene to present a joke. Creativity in editing is there then shown as the Doctor hypes up the excellence of his machine. As he does this, dramatic music starts to play and get louder, only for it to cut out when the AC/DC only manages to produce a single bauble. Using editing to create comedy is what some of the best directors are able to do. This is where the story goes downhill as weeping angels start to randomly appear in the TARDIS. Considering the Doctor made the AC/DC to take Christmas decorations from around the world and sort them into the TARDIS, how does the machine confuse Christmas decorations with weeping angels? Surely someone as smart as the Doctor could stop that from happening. The special effects for the angels are brilliant considering they're just high quality pictures placed into the shot, but the way it's been done with the motion blur and the shaking of the camera is quite good, and it makes them look like they're in the room. The Doctor then offers the weeping angels a slice of Christmas cake before randomly shouting out Merry Christmas for no other reason than to introduce the opening title sequence. The special effects of the opening sequence aren't great, however the sequence is creative. The Doctor's stupidness is then shown as he says that the reason the TARDIS is losing power is because he diverted all of the power into his AC/DC machine. The Silents then appear in the episode for no reason and just talk to the Doctor. He then does a Stephen Moffat and proceeds to tell the Silents and Angels who he is, why he's so brilliant, and then references old plot points from the real show that will never ever be resolved, like what the Doctor's real name is. The Doctor then realises that the monsters will just defeat each other anyway, so there wasn't really much point in him being in this episode. However, it does show off some good special effects, I must admit. There is then an emotional sacrifice made by the Doctor, however it's nowhere near as emotional as it's supposed to be. The Doctor is zapped back in time, but he's still in his TARDIS, and Lola gets the message that he's in the freezer. One thing I do enjoy about the episode is the nice ending. It ends with the Doctor saying Merry Christmas to the people of Earth as he tucks into his mince pie and the TARDIS fades away. Although there are many things that are silly in the episode, it is short at around 15 minutes, which means there's less panning out of the episode, and it still keeps it enjoyable. It's only when I stop the episode to think about what's wrong with it that I notice the flaws. I don't want to appear like I'm taking a dump all over DW 2012, but this episode, when compared to their first episode, is a lot better. Rob did manage to build a TARDIS in what I assume is his bedroom, but it's nowhere near the detail of DW 2012's, but the way it's used in the episode makes it believable. If I was to give an overall rating of this episode, it would get like a 6 or 7 out of 10. The acting is good, but the story weighs it down. This was a brilliant short film. It's astonishing to know that this only has 333 views on YouTube, whereas my steaming turd by comparison has 395 views. It's the story of one man and his magic typewriter. It takes a story we've all seen before, where a writer writes something and it happens in real life, but completely flips it on its head. With little to no dialogue and good special effects, Rob is creating an award-winning short film. It opens with the main character, who's a writer. He dreams of being an award-winning writer, but he has trouble writing his novel or script. This sequence is mixed with flashes of inside the writer's imagination, where we see parts of the story that the writer is writing. The writer does struggle for ideas. Over and over we see him throwing away pieces of paper he's written on and drinking a lot of coffee in a short montage sequence. He gets frustrated, he throws his typewriter on the floor, but then he trips over some air and knocks himself out. Once he's knocked out, this is where we see his idea play out in his dreams. There is one flaw: the sound design makes it appear as if he's walking on a hardwood floor, but what is shown is carpet, so he wouldn't hear his footsteps in real life. How someone didn't notice this, I'll never know. When he wakes up, the typewriter that he threw on the floor doesn't appear to work, obviously. The typewriter then begins to type by itself. He repeatedly changes the paper, but the typewriter continues to type on every fresh piece. Rob's acting in the editing of this sequence is excellent. It properly portrays the strangeness of the situation. After messing with the typewriter, he goes to make himself another cup of coffee, and the typewriter begins to move by itself again. What he uses to make the coffee, like the mug, the milk, and the kettle, start to disappear one by one. He goes back to the typewriter, and this is where he realises that the typewriter is controlling the world around him. He tries to smash it, however it makes the hammer that he's holding disappear. He throws items at it, and they disappear also. The typewriter then begins to summon objects and throw them at the writer. He is knocked out, and there's a dream sequence that parallels the one shown at the start. Instead of him winning the award, someone else wins. It shows that the typewriter not only has control of reality, but also has control of dreams. Realising what the typewriter is doing, he tries to leave, but is stopped every single time. The typewriter continues to warp the world around the writer until his clothes change into those that we saw in the noir dream sequence at the start. This is when we realise that the writer will become his own main character in his own fictional story. The sequence almost plays out the same as before, but this time instead of him killing the bad guys and getting the girl, the typewriter changes the story so that the writer dies and is shot by the gangsters, and even the woman he was trying to save. This was a brilliant premise for a short film. The directing, the cinematography, and acting were all outstanding. I would just go and watch it for yourself. Rob clearly has passion. All his videos include funny moments, apart from those that are supposed to be serious. He's a good actor with a range of expressions. There are little things that make the videos with himself quite clever, for example how he shaves his beard to portray different versions of Rob. Like I said before, he doesn't upload regularly, but always uploads around Christmas time to wish his fans Merry Christmas. His videos are short and quick, which keeps them entertaining. They're also well put together, and they have very little flaws. And all this effort has resulted in a whopping subscriber count of... Rob puts time and effort into creating good content and barely has 1,300 subscribers. This channel deserves a lot more.